Here we talk about the course for structural engineering, for non-structural engineering. Really, anyone of us is working as an engineering manager or project manager and so on. You should be interact with different disciplines. One of them, which is the structural engineering. Okay, if you are an electrical engineer, instrumentation engineer, mechanical engineer, process engineer, and also the mechanical engineer, more than one steps that we have, maybe as a static equipment or piping or pipelines and so on. All this on the can be a project manager or can be an engineering manager. So in this case, he mandatory to deal with the structural engineer. To avoid any conflict depends on the communication. Communication, which is 90% for the conflict due to the communication. The best way to enhance the communication to understand what in his mind, what he's thinking about, what he needs, what's the output I will deliver. So I have what's the input that I need, what about the process in general, what about the output that you will take. Okay, so you need to understand it for everyone that you are working with. If you are a project manager, sure, you will work with different disciplines. As a project engineer, you to make a coordination and handling with a different discipline. If you are the engineering manager, maybe you are an expert in electrical or instrumentations, mechanical, and so on, but need to have some subordinate for you a structural engineering discipline. So you need to understand what in their mind. How can you understand them? Okay, what's their need, what they can do, what they can deliver, what they need to deliver. Okay, at the end you need to facilitate him his work to provide you the optimum performance that you need from them. So as I mentioned, the first barrier, which is the communication, because you need to understand what in his mind, how he is thinking, what about his knowledge. Maybe sometimes you need to make evaluation, you need to be a communication, you need to be a review, or you need to understand the concept to capture through the meeting, to understand, to evaluate his work is good or not good, he understand well or not understand well, his performance, it matches with requirement, and so on. What about this case? We focus about the structural engineering concept for the most traditional structures that we have, which is a concrete structure and the steel structure. So we will discuss about the type of the material that we use, the behavior of the material, what about the concrete structure, what's the component of the concrete structure, why we use the steel reinforcement, why we choose the location of the steel reinforcement, and then we discuss about the steel structures, the type of the steel structure. For the concrete structure, what about the concept of the concrete structure? Depend on what we choose the system. Maybe we have the type of the slab according to the dimension itself that we will discuss through the course. What about the dimension? How can you select the optimum structure system? Because the main concept, we need to understand the concept. It's very important. What about the structure system? How can the structure engineer select the structure system? So we'll talk about the flat slab, the hollow block, flat slab, solid slab normal, as we mentioned, pre-stressed, go through in brief about the pre-stressed, precast, what's the meaning of the precast, what about the foundation, what about the type of the foundations that we have. We have isolated footing, component footing, straight footing, we have a piles, what about the type of the piles. Because you are site in the construction manager or project manager or engineering manager, you should deal with this. When I make the design of foundation, what I need, what information I need to start the foundation. The crazy situation for the structural engineer really that we are the discipline which have the last discipline have the accurate data, and the first discipline start on site. Okay, so the first discipline start of site is the civil engineer, and the last one have the data, which is the civil engineer also. So we have a challenge here. Challenge as a project manager, challenge as a discipline of the team of the civil, about the teamwork itself, because, for example, I need the information of the machine, the accurate, for example, accurate information of the machine, it come after manufacture of the machine, or in the beginner, or have some exchange, and so on. On the meantime, I need to start on the site. I need to enhance the soil, I need to make foundation, and so on. So this mean of that I need the first one, the start of the site, so the challenge for the structural engineer, and we need to understand them. And we need to distinguish between what about the civil engineer, what's the difference between civil engineer and the structural engineer. Okay, and let's clarify it here. In oil and gas, take care, in oil and gas business, civil engineer, when you are working onshore, whatever onshore, make a steel structure, make concrete structure, whatever, is a civil engineer. For structural engineer, which is the offshore structure called an structural engineer. So in case of oil and gas projects. In case of real estate project, the structural engineer, anyone take care of the steel structure, building, concrete structure, and so on, structural engineer. In the road, sewage, road, sanitary work, sewage, wastewater, and so on, all this, it will be, and all geotechnical with them, it will be the civil engineer. Okay, so the terminology between civil and structural is different from the business that you have. Okay, take care about it. So in this course we discuss about all of this, and we discuss about the concept of the materials, the concept of the structural engineer, how can we use the structural engineer, what's about the concept of the structural engineer, the concept of the structural mechanics. Structural mechanics is very important as structural engineer. I have the material, I have the structural mechanic about the performance of the material itself, and I have do structural analysis and then design the member. Okay, and then the drawing, specification, and so on, calculation, and so on. So this is the main target, to identify about the material, the behavior of the material, the structural mechanic, the structural analysis for the concrete and steel, sure. It will be applied for any material really, but the concept will be the same. We applied it practical, and how can we design the member? For example, how can we design the simple beam, concrete simple beam, and also the slab, the foundation, and we take some session about the foundation itself, because foundation is very important. Usually we interact with them. What about the foundation? What about the geotechnical? How can we choose the soil boring? What about the type of foundation, and also the structure system? Because the building, in case of height of the building, it will be 2-story building, 3-story building, rather than 10, 15, rather than 30, and so on. And the relation between the height of the building and the type of the soil itself. All this, it will be discussed in detail through the course. So this course, it will be tailored for any engineer, but not a structural engineer, because it will be very simple, and try to be simple as I can to give you the tools or the know-how or the way of the structures engineer thinking about. I wish this course, it will be help you, and if you have any question during the course or after the course, let us know about it, let us discuss about it. If you have some special topics when you're working, just contact me, maybe to add or enhance the video or send it to you direct, and so on, because it will be not a small project, it will be a very big project to cover all the structural engineering topics, which cover for 4 years, to cover it simple as we can in just 4 hours or 3 hours. But in any way, I try to give you the know-how or the key point or the key stages for the structural engineering, that you can use it during your project. If you are working on the site, construction manager, project manager, manage the project as a whole, or engineering manager. Okay, so I cover all these topic. What about your discipline? Process engineer, mechanical engineer, electrical engineer, instrumentation, process, whatever your discipline, you will understand the concept. This is the target, understand the concept of the structural engineer to enhance your career, your business, enhance your interaction, communication with different disciplines. If you are familiar with this and we have the capability to interact with all the disciplines that we have to obtain from him the optimum, and also as I mentioned, we have an input. He needs to assist you. He needs the input to be good. At the end, the output, try it will be match with your expectation or not match your expectation. Because anyone upset if he have an output, he cannot be matched with his expectations. Okay, so I need to give you all about the structural engineering from A to Z as I can. I cover the concrete structure and the steel structure. Both structure it will be covered, and as I mentioned, it will be covered through the concept, material, structure analysis, structure mechanics in general. I wish this course it can be a benefit to you and it can assist you in your career. And if you have any question at any time, or you need to add any topics or have any comment, let me know, as the quality concept is our concept here to all my courses. I need to, it has to be a dynamic course to increase, decrease, and so on. All my courses to be interactive with me and my colleague who participate in my courses. So waiting your feedback and enjoy the course. Thanks a lot and have a nice day. Thanks a lot.